White Gold has a large prospective land package of over 420,000 hectares. The company's strategic investors are Agnico Eagle, Kinross Gold, and Eric Sprott. The company is ticker WGO on the Canadian Venture Exchange and WHGOF on the OTCQX. With us is Shawn Ryan. He's co-founder and chief technical advisor. Shawn, welcome back to Kitco.
Thank you.
Thumbnail White Gold for us, Shawn. What drew you to prospecting in the Yukon, and what makes White Gold so unique?
Well, the Yukon was pretty well virtually, I would call it underexplored, like about 15 years ago. Like I started about 25 years ago. And the idea was there was a lot of placer gold that came from the district, like up to 20,000 ounces, but there was no real known source found. So I called it like Sasquatch hunting. You're gonna heard about the beast, but you've never seen it. So I come from the Timmins camp where you're finding millions and millions of ounces. So that's what led me into the source. Like let's go looking for the source.
And tell us what's unique about White Gold in relationship to all of the other possible areas in the Yukon, Shawn.
Well, what I ended up doing was we ended up going, like everybody started prospecting with a rock hammer. And I quickly learned that I'd go broke doing that. So we ended up running in, like using soil sampling as a program, as a technique to hunt, because it's in a non-glaciated environment. But really what it ended up doing was like taking thousands of soils and thousands. So through that 2000 and we started in 2001 then, but by the time we got to 2011, we actually probably gathered almost, 500,000 soils in the district. And a bulk of them projects came back. Like we found the white gold, like the original white gold discovery with Underworld, and then the Kaminak discovery, same thing with soils. So then when the crash came back in 2000, at the end of 2011, all them projects came back to me. But at this point, we actually understood where our mineralized systems exist with the soils. So I call them haystacks. We don't know where the needles are yet, but we knew where the haystacks were. So that's what ended up with White Gold is, after waiting for a few years for people to come to see me, try to option claims, nobody was. I approached the Power One group and we formed this company called White Gold to basically focus in on these haystacks, as I call them, which are basically out of the 500,000 soils. It's where our highest probabilities where these anomalies exist. And that's what White Gold is really about now, is kind of chasing these targets and starting to kind of delineate them and then put a couple of drill holes into them.
Now, you talk about the cyclicality, Shawn. There's some large miners that have recently invested in the district. I think of Newmont and Rio, and then of course there's the strategic partners, Agnico and Kinross, that are involved with White Gold. Why is this significant?
Well, the reality is it takes a while for confidence to build in a district, and when's a district, as I say, so we got 20 million ounces of placer gold found. You got companies like Western Copper with Casino, up to 20 million ounces between resource and reserves. And then you have like the Coffee Project, and Kaminak sold it. It had 4.5 million ounces. White Gold on the Golden Saddle's got about 1.5 million there now. So all of a sudden you start going, wait a minute, we're well north of 40 million when you start adding these things. So the district is there. It's just not developed yet. And the idea is now is these majors, are looking for new districts. And this is one that is starting to emerge.
Lastly, what are some catalysts investors can look forward to this year, Shawn?
Well, what we're doing now is, it takes years to and that's what the kind of cool thing with White Gold is. We're looking at the district as a whole, and we basically, we're working projects for many years. So like the initial White Gold discovery or the Golden Saddle, we've been working around there, but we just found some new target that we already knew about, but it was like the Ryan Surprise in Uli's Ridge that we started hitting some nice high grade. Like some of the last drill holes were 20 meters of almost 7 grams. So that's nice grade. And the idea is that was on Uli's Ridge, and that had an arsenic component versus the Golden Saddle never had anything. So we've been kind of ignoring the gold arsenic component to these soil anomalies on the white specifically. So now we're going to chase down this corridor that's actually got more real estate than the Arc and Golden Saddle combined as a soil anomaly. So there's about 6.5 kilometer trend that we're going to just start vectoring in on that one. And then we made a nice new discovery with first maiden drill holes, diamond drill holes on the Betty. That's continuous with the Newmont Coffee project along the Coffee Creek Fault, where we hit 50 meters at 3.5 grams. So we're going to go in and jump onto that target also. So that was the idea with white gold. We had a bunch of these haystacks lined up, and we're going to start as we're coming into the drilling phase, because we went through the soil phase already. And that was kind of understanding where these haystacks were. So now, it shouldn't surprise the public that we start getting these hits after hits. And this is what the interesting thing is now we've got two nice brand new areas, one on that Ryan Surprise Uli's Ridge and the other one on the Betty, to follow up on this summer. So it should be an exciting summer for the company.
Shawn, thanks for telling us about it at Kitco.
Okay, no problem.
He's Shawn Ryan, co-founder and chief technical advisor of White Gold. My name is Michael McRae, and you're watching Kitco Mining. Let's learn more about white gold.
Welcome to the Invest Yukon site tour. My name's Shawn Ryan, and I'm a technical advisor for White Gold, and we're sitting on the White Gold project, our flagship property. This season's work, we're trying to follow up on the Ryan Surprise. Last year we drilled some interesting holes. We had some nice intersections. So this year we're coming in and we're hitting it again at a little bit bigger spread pattern, a little bit deeper drilling. The Golden Saddle's got roughly 1.5 million ounces in it. And what we'd like to do is see if we could find these other satellite pods and hopefully find another 500,000 ounces here and maybe another 500,000 ounces in another spot. So that's what the goal is. So right now, the Ryan Surprise is up on the next ridge, about 2 kilometers from the Golden Saddle. So that one looks like it's got some legs in it because we're hitting some nice intersections. And then the Rab is actually working just about 500 meters away on another place called Uli's Ridge. And the interesting part about Uli's Ridge was that was one of the original areas I was back in 2003 when I was working this project. And we know we had some nice sniffs of gold, and now we're actually starting to find that source that I was sniffing out way back when. And really what it is we soil sample, start with ridges and spurs, so all the ridges you see behind us, we've actually sampled. And once we toe into a gold hit on those ridges, then we go into gritting. And what we're trying to do is figure out how that gold is sitting, or what's the pattern of the gold. Once we locate that, then we go into this GT probe, and that's just piercing the ground every 5 meters to tighten up these anomalies that we call it. And we bring in either a diamond drill or a Rab drill. And right now we're using Rab drills to poke a quick 60-meter hole. We put a downhole televiewer down the hole. We XRF the powder coming out. So then if we make a good hit, after we've assayed them rocks from the Rab system, then what we do is follow it up with a diamond drill program. And that's what we're doing right now with White Gold. We have both of those kind of programs going on. The White Gold District represents an area that was virtually unprospected back in 2003 and 4. Like, we knew we had all these placer creeks in here, but nobody's actually ever found the source. So what was this Golden Saddle specifically represented the first major ounces of gold found in quartz vein systems in this Klondike area. So that represents, like I say, a little over 1.5 million ounces. But there's got to be more of these pods going on. And so this is what, now with our initial big regional soils, we figured out where the haystacks were. And those are called mineralized systems. We don't know where the needles are in there, but that's our job now. And now we're moving into the drill stage. The last 10 years, 12 years, I call it the recon stage. That's the soil phase, just getting to understand your district. And now we're applying new techniques like LiDAR and stuff like that to actually, so it could take away the trees, so we could see the substructure. And then we incorporate that with the soils. And then now we're into this drilling phase with the Rab and the diamond drill, and we should be making a few more discoveries. How many, we're not sure. The idea is that I think we're gonna make a bunch more discoveries. And so this is just kind of the beginning stages. because where I come from, the Timmins camp, they've been looking for gold for 100 years and they're still finding more gold. So this is kind of the beginning stages, and I hope to see this go for the next 30 to 40 years.